Assalamu alaikum. This lecture is about the acid number. As we have discussed in previous lecture that what is acid number. Acid number is a value which defined as the number of milligram of potassium hydroxide required to neutralize the three fatty acids present in a given sample, which is of 1 gram of fat, and it is a relative measure of the rancidity, as normally free fatty acids are usually present or formed during the decomposition of the triglycerides or fats or lipids. So we can say that acid number basically indicates that and it helps to identify the old and new fat samples. So what is rancidity? We have to understand that how fats undergo rancidity by certain reactions. Mostly different types of food can become rancid, and however when we use this term, so it basically applies on the fats and lipids, and either in the presence of water or in the presence of oxygen or by the presence of heat or increase in temperature, the natural oil and fat changes its odor and its taste by certain chemical reaction. The presence of or the development of unpleasant smell and color is called as rancidity. And because it is physically detected, so one can identify the product is not become so good in taste and smell. So it is termed as that ये अब rancid हो चुकी है. What are the harmful effects? Harmful effects ये हैं कि because they reduce the nutritional value of the food. Firstly, the energy providence is not remain the same, and the number of fat, triglyceride or free fatty acids are liberated from the fats, so its nutritional value is decreases. Secondly, there is a chance of the production of some toxic compounds, and these toxic compounds may be free radicals or different types of small chain fatty acids which are of not having any dietary needs. However, they become toxic. There are certain aldehyde and certain ketones are also formed during the process of rancidification. One example is the production of the butyric acid from the long chain fatty acid, and butyric acid is a short chain compound which is formed during the rancidification, and it causes a typical rancid taste in a fats. Rancidification, we can say that rancidification is the decomposition of the fats and oils and other lipids, and basically it is in this procedure two chemical reactions are involved. One is hydrolysis and second is oxidation. Either these reactions are individually take place or they can occur simultaneously. The picture reflects how the fat is formed by, it is a simple fat in which glycerol is forming the ester linkage, and there is three ester linkage between the fatty acids. So we अगर हम recall करें तो fat and lipids contain glycerol and fatty acid with ester linkage. So and long chain fatty acid is there. तो 2 points are there जिसमें degradation हो सकती है. First point है हमारे पास ये ester link है. This ester linkage is prone to the hydrolytic reaction, while R chain may contain certain unsaturated carbon double bond. This carbon double bond is basically prone to the oxidation. तो 2 points आप याद रखें इसमें कि ऑक्सीजन का जो point है वो एस्टर लिंक का जो point है basically इसमें susceptibility है for the hydrolysis, and for R chain susceptibility is for the oxidation. So on the basis of this we have two types of rancidity, and hydrolytic rancidity and oxidative rancidity. In hydrolytic rancidity, basically it is dependent on certain enzymes like lypases, in which addition of water will causes the release of the free fatty acids, and these free fatty acids have volatile and bad odor. While in case of oxidative density, it is a complex procedure in which oxygen in the presence of heat, in the presence of light, react with carbon-carbon double bond, or it react the methylene group present between two carbon double bonds, and this methylene group convert into a peroxide radical, which is very dangerous and damaging to the membranes. So hydrolytic rancidity happens when triglyceride is particularly hydrolyzed and free fatty acids are released, and it requires a catalyst or any enzyme. And it is also a reason that example is butter, which is odorless initially, however it becomes odorous due to this type of rancidification, especially if it is not kept in a tightly container. It increases the in case of meat, everyone know that we kept the meat, and even frozen items are there which are continuously keeping in the refrigerator. They contain polyunsaturated fats. They oxidize slowly, and the taste of the meat is changed and it becomes rancid. The process is start even at the moment of the animal is slaughtered and continues under the cool temperature as well. Although it is at refrigeration, even in at frozen temperature, rancidity occur. However, the rate is become slow. Oxidative rancidity is basically dependent on the degradation by the oxygen present in the air, and this reaction is very dangerous as it produces highly volatile aldehydes and ketones, and it causes the change in the water content as well. If we compare the two types of rancidity, we can analyze that hydrolytic rancidity is in this the component is break down into fatty acids and glycerol, while in case of oxidative rancidity, reaction occur between the carbon-carbon double bond, and it is usually occur in unsaturated fatty acids. Hydrolytic rancidity is quick process and occur more rapidly in the presence of enzymes, while oxidative rancidity is not a quick reaction. However, it's a slower reaction. However, it is a major problem and it leads to production of several toxic substances. Example of hydrolytic rancidity is the butter, which become rancid, or the taste of milk is also changed due to the hydrolytic rancidity, while the example of oxidative rancidity is the polyunsaturated fatty acids, that is omega-3 and omega-6 type of fatty acids. All these are may undergo oxidative rancidity. How to decrease or minimize the rate of the rancidity? It is impossible to completely inhibit the rancidity because these factors are continuously present in the atmosphere. Even preventive measures have been taken. It is noted that at some extent rancidity is continuous and carrying on. So it is best to avoid the storage of the fats at too much time. Use healthy food and use immediate food. Avoid storage of so much frozen items in your refrigerator. Secondly, the best way to minimize the rate of rancidity is the addition of the antioxidants in a product which need to be frozen. So antioxidants are those compounds which have ability to inhibit the oxidation procedure, oxidation rancidity. There are two types of antioxidants available. First one is the natural antioxidants like flavonoids, like polyphenols, like ascorbic acid and tocopherols. And second one is the synthetic ones, that is butylated hydroxynosole and butylated hydroxytoluene, etc. as mentioned here. Natural antioxidants are good as they are present in natural nature and they are compatible to our human body. However, the problem is that they are of short life. they cannot prevent the density for too much time as compared to the synthetic one, which are when a longer shelf life is preferred. And furthermore, their effectiveness is also depend upon their solubility. For example, there are water soluble antioxidants, um, which live, and some are fat soluble antioxidants. Ideally, a combination of water soluble and fat soluble should be used so that a fatty portion can be preserved by using fat soluble antioxidants. Addition of antioxidant will increase the cost of the product, so it is not a good practice to increase the cost for commercial purpose. There are other ways also to minimize the rate of the rancidity. What are these? Second option is by adopting good packaging technique, one can minimize the rate of rancidity. That is by using opaque packaging and colored glass bottles and gas impermeable of wrapping film. Free space in the container should be kept to minimum. For example, potato chips, which are usually packed in thick foil, and they are packed with filled with packets are filled with the nitrogen. There is no free oxygen is there in the packet. The best way is to use vacuum packing or fill the packages with any inert gas. Once the package is open, the gas will go in the air and the item remains same so that it is eaten by the person. Third way is to maintain certain temperature or decreasing the temperature of the storage oil or fats. Foods either kept in dark and keep in the refrigerator will reduce the rate of photooxidation, which is less affected by the temperature. Furthermore, reducing the water level of the content of the food, such as drying, is one of the way to reduce the hydrolytic rancidity. You can imagine that previously when refrigerator was not there, initially what was the practice that the meat was freeze by initially उसको कहते हैं कि आँच लगा लिया उसको और उसमें से पानी जो है वो उसमें से ड्राई कर लिया, यानी जो गोश्त या मीट के अंदर जो पानी है वो अगर रिमूव कर दिया जाए तो देन इट विल रिड्यूस दी हाइड्रोलाइटिक rancidity, and it also discourages the growth of microorganisms as well, and it increases the life of the product. We can add certain additives and antimicrobial as well. For example, salting and high sugar contents can also prevent the rancidity by the process of osmosis. Sulfur dioxide and sodium sulfide can be used in food products, and sodium potassium nitrites and other organic salts usually discouraged because they can lead to the growth of the several microorganisms in the foods. Organic acids are avoided while inorganic substances can be used. There are certain traditional methods to extend the shelf life of the food, for example, thickening, fermentation, salting, or preservation by the addition of sugar, in which vinegar can be used for pickling. For fermentation, ethanol is used, however, it is not halal, so it is not avoidable in Muslim country. While salting and sugar can also play their part by reducing the microbial burden and by decreasing the amount of water. All the water will release out from the product. Question arises in one mind that this rancidity is a natural process, so either it has any nutritional significance or not. So hydrolytic rancidity has a chance at releasing free fatty acids, so some important flavor can be produced by means of rancidity. However, this is of little importance because it is not stopped at certain levels, so it is very difficult to control this type of rancidity, and if it is planned and controlled at a commercial level, so it can be possible. Most problematic rancidity occur in case of oxidative rancidity, and 3 toxic reactions are performed in which the formation of the peroxide fatty acids, and production of polymeric material and production of the oxidized sterols. Hydrolytic transitory may give the strong cheese-like taste on the sharp burning taste, while peroxidized fats destroy both vitamin A and E in foods. Peroxide fats is very toxic, and under normal process, polymeric material lose the dietary significance, and oxidized sterol is very dangerous as it is involved in the atherosclerotic disease, and in this these oxidized sterol have tendency to deposit in the blood vessels. Now our lab work, which is at stage number 46, that identify old or new fat sample with the help of the acid number. And what are the requirements? Requirements are the old and oil sample, which is one is new and one is old. We need 0.1 molar KOH. We need certain apparatus like conical flask, burette, phenolphthalein, fat solvent like ethanol, mixture of ethanol and ether. And what is the procedure? We take 1 gram of fat sample and add 5 ml of fat solvent. Okay, we have to solubilize the fat in the fat solvent. 1 gram in 5 ml. We will mix it and add few drops of the phenolphthalein. After the addition of phenolphthalein, we titrate it with 0.1 molar KOH, which is present in the burette. End point will be the faint pink color, which will persist for at least 30 seconds. Dropwise, we have to add the KOH in dropwise manner. Then note the volume of the KOH, utilize and calculate the acid number of given fat sample with the help of the formula. Formula is very simple. Whatever the reading is there, we have to multiply it with 5.6. Same procedure will be repeated for another sample. We don't know which sample is the new one and which sample is the old one. For example, if the burette reading of the sample A, let's suppose the burette reading of the sample A is 0.2 ml and sample B, the burette reading is about 1.1 ml. बहुत ही जल्दी इसका रिजल्ट आ जाता है, इसलिए हमें बहुत ही आराम से एहतियात से आहिस्ता आहिस्ता इसका जो है वो KOH को ऐड करना है. Because in this procedure what we do, we take the normal fat sample at the room temperature and we want to measure the free fatty acid present in the sample, जो कि normally present, अगर वो fresh sample है और फ्रेश एक्सट्रैक्ट आउट किया गया है, उसको स्टेज टाइम ज़्यादा नहीं है, तो उसमें फ्री फैटी एसिड कंटेंट विल बी लो. एंड दो सैंपल विच इज़ 6 year old, 6 month old और 1 year old, इट हैज़ अ लॉन्ग, उसमें उसको बहुत टाइम मिल चुका है कि वो ऑक्सीडाइज होता रहे, वो हाइड्रोलाइज होता रहे और उसके अंदर फ्री फैटी एसिड की प्रोडक्शन बढ़ जाए. जब फ्री फैटी एसिड की प्रोडक्शन बढ़ जाएगी नेचुरली, then these free fatty acids are capable of undergoing the reaction with the KOH. What happened if the sample A, then we just multiply the burette reading with the 5.6 and we got two results. For example, sample A, the result is 1.12 and for sample B, the result is 6.16. So we can conclude that those sample which has less acid number, we will term as that this sample is fresh, while those sample which has a higher acid number, we will conclude that it become rancid and it is an old sample.